In this video, we'll talk about the XLOOKUP function in Excel. It was introduced a few years back as a much better version of VLOOKUP and HLOOKUP. And don't worry, if you haven't heard of HLOOKUP, it's rarely used in a traditional financial work. So XLOOKUP is faster, it has more features, and it's much easier to use. And if you've used VLOOKUP a lot, you know that in some situations we had to resort to a combination of index and match. But with the XLOOKUP function, that's a thing of the past, and we don't need to do it anymore. I want to show you some examples on how you can use the XLOOKUP function in more like creative scenarios, so apart from the regular VLOOKUP replacement. And I hope that by the end of this video, you'll be more inclined to start using XLOOKUP for your lookup needs in Excel. Let's open Excel and get straight to it. So I have this worksheet here with a few XLOOKUP examples. This here is a list of web development projects generated just for the sake of this example. So what we have is the project ID, the name, a category, required hours, the price per hour, total budget, and a deadline for this project. Now let's look at a few ways that we can use XLOOKUP. The first one, the basic XLOOKUP, essentially replaces VLOOKUP, and it's a bit faster and it works a bit better in terms of how it works with the data. So here we'll have XLOOKUP. Our lookup value will be our ID, and then our lookup array. Essentially, this is the difference with VLOOKUP. With VLOOKUP, you had to provide an entire table, and it had to start with the column where we're looking and then include the column that has the result we're looking for. And we had to provide the number of this column. Here, it's much better because we have a lookup array, which is just where we're looking, and then a return array, and it matches the indexes within those arrays. So essentially, it's not replacing VLOOKUP, but more replacing index and match, or replacing both. So our lookup array will be our project IDs. Let's go ahead and select all those. And then, our return array is we want the project budget. I'm just gonna select the budget here. If not found, I don't want anything. And in terms of the search, we want the exact match. And in terms of the search mode, we want to search first to last. Keep in mind, you can skip those and it's just going to use those as default. I usually want to have at least the match mode to 0, just so that when I'm looking at my formulas, I understand exactly what the purpose is and how the formula is instructed to operate. Close that and we get 287. Let's see, ID 15, project is 287. This is just the basic way that you can use XLOOKUP. Now let's look at some more advanced ways of using this formula. For example, here we want to take the project budget, but for the project with highest hours to complete. In order to do that, we'll use XLOOKUP, and for our lookup value, instead of providing a project ID or anything, we'll get the project with the maximum hours to complete. So we'll say max, grab hours required, and this will be our lookup value. Our lookup array will be the same thing, hours required. So we'll then look through the hours required, and our return array will again be the budget. And we want an exact match. Hit that and we get 700. If we go down a bit, you see here that we have 14.9 hours, and this is our longest project, and the budget is 700. Keep in mind that where we're getting the max, if we have two projects with the same number of hours, it would just take the first one, which is the same with all the lookup functions. If you have multiple, it just takes the first one. The good thing here is that we can instruct it to search from down up, so we have a bit more ways to play around with the formula. Next, let's see how we can use that with wildcards to search different things. We're saying find first project containing corporate. So we want to see the first project that contains corporate and the project name. and return the total hours required for this project. So here we'll say XLOOKUP, and our lookup value won't be corporate. We'll actually concatenate those star signs, which means that they can represent any character and any number of characters. Concatenate with the ampersand, grab this one, concatenate again, and add another star. So essentially we're looking for star corporate star, which looks for anything that contains corporate and has anything on either side. We're looking in our project name, select this whole thing, and our return array is hours required. We want the project hours, and we want an exact match. And this doesn't work because there's no exact match for star corporate star. So we need to change this parameter here from exact match to wildcard character match. So this would allow XLOOKUP to essentially use those wild characters, the stars here and here, as wild characters instead of just the symbol star. Close that, and now we get project hours 7. Let's see if update corporate website. This is the first project that contains corporate, and it's 7 hours. We can do the same thing in reverse from the bottom up. So we can find the last item with XLOOKUP, and this has to be find last project containing travel. So we'll have XLOOKUP. Again, we'll have our wildcard star with concatenation to this here, and then concatenate it again with another star. Our lookup array will be our project name column. Our return array will be our hours required column. If not found, we don't want anything. We need to remember to say 2 here for wildcard character match. And here we'll use search mode and use the second one, search last to first, -1, and we'll find the hours for the last project containing travel, and its name are 7. Let's try this. This is the last one containing travel, and it's 7 hours. We can also use it in combination with functions like small, for example, to find the project name of the nth smallest budget. So the second smallest budget in this example here. Here we'll have XLOOKUP. Our XLOOK value will be the small function, and we need to provide an array and the number of this n of the nth smallest, or here it's called k. So we're looking at the nth smallest budget. So for small, we'll get total budget, and then for k, it's gonna be this 2 here. So we'll find the second smallest budget. This will be our lookup value. Our lookup array will be our total budget. So we're looking through the total budget to find this second smallest total budget, and we are returning the project name. So column C, and we want an exact match. And we see redesign landing page. And for example, here we might face issues again because you see that we have 2 redesign landing page, and one of those is definitely not the second smallest, but the other one with 5.3 hours and a total budget of 249 seems to be the second smallest. So yeah, we only have this 5.10 that's smaller than that. And now that we have it set up like this, we can try one, and we'll see the first smallest launch online store should be this 510 here. Yep, launch online store. We can also combine XLOOKUP with other functionalities like concatenation, for example. So for this ID, give the name and category. So essentially here we'll have XLOOKUP looking for this ID, be looking for it in here, and we want the project name as a return array. We want an exact match, and we want to concatenate that with another XLOOKUP that's again looking for this project ID within the project ID column, and would return the category here. And again, we want an exact match. This is a bit unlegible because it just slapped the two together. So what we can do is go in here and say we want to add this string. Don't forget another ampersand, and you don't need those empty spaces here. I'm leaving them just so that it's a bit more legible. Enter, and now we have project name and the project category. Example, go to 5, we have redesign landing page category. Here it is. Those are a few examples of the power of XLOOKUP, and I know we are all struggling to switch from using VLOOKUP because it's just so ingrained that it's become muscle memory by now, but try to think, especially in like more complex scenarios where you resort to index and match. XLOOKUP is much faster and much simpler to write. As you can see, the XLOOKUP function is much more versatile than VLOOKUP or HLOOKUP or index and match, but I guess people are still not sold on it. And for me, the reason is that, especially if you've worked in a financial setting in Excel, you're so used to VLOOKUP that it's like muscle memory. It's become second nature. So even now, I usually use VLOOKUP, although XLOOKUP is much faster when it has to process a lot of data, and it's much more versatile. So both you and me need to start using XLOOKUP more and reap the benefits of this better function. I also want to briefly mention Mint Tools for Excel. It's an Excel add-in that I developed specifically with the aim to save you time on those pesky, mundane, routine, daily tasks that we have to go through while we work with Excel. If you want to check it out, you can do so on the first link in the description down below. And if you decide to purchase it and support the channel and me, there's also a 50% discount code down in the description box. Now, before I let you go, I want to show you my #1 trick for instantly adding value to any financial model that you're working on. And I'm going to do that in this video up here. Thanks for watching. I hope you found the video useful, and I'll see you in the next one up here.